What's up, guys? Mike B, aka Phony here, and this is going to be very interesting. I've never done anything like this. I've dealt with this on a micro level, but as far as putting it into a package where lots of people can kind of just watch one single video and get a general idea of how this system works, this is obviously foreign to me. So, you want to play video games for a living. For a living, not part-time. For a living, like that's all you want to do. Maybe this video will help you out with the part-time stuff as well. This is not a suggestion video on what do you need to purchase, what equipment works well with what. This is not one of those types of videos. Those types of videos will be outdated probably about the second that I post it because of the rate the hardware comes out. But what I can tell you is that beyond just the hardware aspect of it, there's just a lot more that you absolutely need to be prepared for if you want to make this jump. It's not something that you necessarily have to just jump into. You can progressively make your way into this industry just by doing little things here and there and adding more as things start to build up. Now, those of you guys who maybe don't know who I am, my name is Mike B. I have been creating shows for several years now. I can say that now. Woo! I started off with the BFF Report while I was working in the private sector. I had a full-time corporate job, and it was a management position. It was lots of hours, and I would come home and I'd work on the BFF Report, which is a packaged, produced review show every week, and I was pulling in money from that. Eventually, I found that I could hook up with people like Game Breaker and start doing this stuff full-time. So having the support of my wife, which, by the way, you need some kind of support if you want to make this happen, it helped make this whole transition obviously easier to go straight from working full time and having this part-time gig to actually doing this full time, where I actually lost all of the income that I was making from that private gig. Now, the shows I do, obviously besides the BFF Report, is Blizz Blues, Indie for Breakfast, Trials of Evolution Tuesdays, Gameplay, Legendary, This Week in MMO, Darnell Let's Play, and the Daily Hits on Game Breaker. And of course, I'm half of the music group Negative PH. That's a lot of stuff that I do. Lots and lots of stuff. Not everything on the list do I get paid for. And I'm going to tell you why all this stuff is important in just a minute. But first, we have to start with the basics. The basics of wanting to get into this. And this happens all the time. People, they approach me and they say, hey, Mike B, I want to make videos and put on my YouTube channel. And I'm like, great. Well, you want to try this, and whatever. And once I start to really break down for them what it takes to do this, a lot of times they lose interest. Because people look at it as just, oh, you mean I just talk to a microphone, play video games, record it, and just post on the internet? Woo, that's it, done. It's not. There are a billion people out there that do that. Go to YouTube, and you can find tons of that kind of content. If that's all you want to do, unless you have some superstar, hilarious personality, you're not going to get picked up. Not off of that. Not off of something as simple as that. You have to understand that you are going to have to work for this. Okay? There's a little bit of luck, of course. You have to be seen. You have to communicate with people who are already doing this. And, if you have content that's good and you present it to them, like say, I get tweets sometimes, people are like, hey, check out this video I made. And if I like it, then I'll retweet it. That kind of stuff helps. And granted, I can't share everybody's video. I'll share the stuff that I like. That's kind of the way it works. Other people do it as well. Jesse Cox does it. Total Biscuit does it. Matt Higbee from PlanetSide 2 just tweeted out my BFF report on PlanetSide 2. So that's how you do stuff. You create content that people enjoy, and then they will spread it for you. Then you can start developing a network. Now, the mentality is super important. You have to understand that this is not going to be easy. This kind of work is definitely not easy. Outside of the fact that you're just recording stuff and that's it, there's the editing and the rendering, and then you have to upload it to YouTube. You have to get it monetized. You have to make your YouTube channel look good. You have to, if the monetization fails for some reason, you have to put in a paperwork for that. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into making, just as far as rendering, recording, all that stuff. All of this is part of just the creation of the video. So all that work was for one video. That's it. So imagine if you're doing 10 videos a week, you're gonna go through this whole process 10 times. So that's why you have to be ready to do actual work. And then once that video's up, Then what? You can't just let it sit on YouTube and not do anything. You're going to have to market it. You're going to have to share it. You have to tweet it to people. You're going to have to post it on Facebook and share it with your friends. Send it to your mom. You have to give it out. You can't just let it sit on your YouTube channel and just pray that the tags are going to help take it away, or throw it on Reddit and hope someone thinks it's funny enough to upvote it. You're going to have to work for it. Let's see. Another thing in terms of the mentality, you have to understand, and this is also something that came up recently. You will never be hardcore at any game. Those days are done. If you're looking at focusing on several games, you can have a Guild Wars 2 channel. You can have a World of Warcraft channel, Final Fantasy 2 channel. You could do that. But you never want to have all of your work focused on just one game. Never do that. You want to spread it out, because if that game suddenly becomes unpopular, then what happens? If that game, let's say if you get into a beta, I'll use a real life example actually. Guild Wars 2. I have tons of Guild Wars 2 content on this channel. I don't even know how many videos, but it's a lot. The build up to the launch of Guild Wars 2, I saw a massive spike in traffic. And by massive, I mean like 25% or so. And that's pretty big, right? When you have this spike from what you're used to just kind of build up like this over the course of like a month or two. And that was the hype train, right? Building up to the launch of Guild Wars 2. Once the game launched, guess what happened to those views? It started to trickle down a little bit. I did see a decent loss. They're not all gone, but I do have a significant loss in views. Now, if I had a channel that was primarily Guild Wars 2, I would be in trouble right now. And this is why I say you do not want to focus on just one game. This is why I do the BFF Report. This is why I do Indie for Breakfast. This is why I'm on shows. This is why I have all this stuff going on. Because if you try to rely on just one thing, everything that you do, all of your earnings, that one thing, what happens if that one thing's gone? Then there goes all your money. There goes your livelihood. There goes your rent, whatever it is. So be open to play other things. Again, you can have a Guild Wars 2 channel. I'm using that as an example because it's the most recent release. If you think about it, if I wanted to, I could stay and play the crap out of Guild Wars 2 and make tons of videos on, like, you know, dungeon runs or something, right? I can make those videos. Sure, I can make guides to that. Okay, I could do that. Still, that content's gonna eventually dry up. The gameplay doesn't dry up. You still want to play. You still want to go and play, you know, in WW all the time. But visually, people won't want to watch that stuff all the time. They're looking for entertainment, looking for knowledge. They're looking for that kind of stuff. So you're not going to want to just focus on just one thing unless you have some master plan to be able to post videos constantly and get people to want to watch them, the same content over and over again after you've already consumed whatever it is visually. Again, playing it is different. You can play the same content over and over again and still have a blast, right? That's how MMOs work. That's how all games work, right? It's the visual aspect, the entertainment aspect. You have to take that into consideration. That's why point blank, do not focus on just one game. Trust me on this. Now, the next thing is, so that's the mentality, right? Be ready for work. Lots and lots of frustration. Lots and lots of frustration. Just be ready for it. And of course, be sure to spread yourself out a little bit. Don't just stick yourself to just one game. You can make it big on one game and then start adding more stuff. I mean, I did it with WoW. Right? I'm sorry, I did it with Ion, actually. I did it with Ion. I did a bunch of Ion reviews, and I didn't have any intention of playing Ion beyond that. So I got picked up to the BFF Report, and I was like, this is perfect. I'm a guy who bounces from game to game. This is what I want to do. And that's what I did. I got a lot of initial following off of Ion, and I took that and I kept on playing other games, and they stuck with me. So, we're done with the mentality, all right? Next is brand. Super important. How do I open all my shows? What's up, guys? Mike BAK Phony. Hey, Mike BAK Phony. Your mom, Mike BAK Phony. Balls in your mouth? Sure, Mike BAK Phony. You see? It's just, that is my name. That is my freaking name, right? Nobody knows what Mike Bailey is. That could have been my name for this whole thing, but Mike BAK Phony just stuck, and that was it. I stuck with the brand. That was my name. Everybody knows who Cynical Brit is. Everybody knows who Total Biscuit is. Same guy. But sure, he has a name. Everybody knows who Total Biscuit is. Jesse Cox. Everyone knows who he is, right? Yogs, Cast. You see how these brands, these all make sense. You know all of these names. Now, whatever name you choose, it could be your real name. Jesse Cox, for example, right? Felicia Day. It could be your real name. I'm not saying don't use your real name. I'm saying if you have something, be sure to stick with it and make sure people know who you are, right? By looking at it, they say, that's Mike B, aka Phony. Okay? Now, it's not just choosing the brand, finding something that you kind of like. It's kind of snazzy. Oh, yeah, I'm 360 no scope XX hardcore in your face, right? That's a stupid name. That's a dumb name, and I've seen it. Do not stick with that. That's not something that people are going to remember. That's not something that people are going to want to have to type. None of that. If you pick a brand name, here's what I did. This is actually another real life scenario. Working with a friend of mine. Her name is Michaela. Really smart. She loves games. She plays tons of games. Huge DayZ nerd, right? She wants to get into doing video game content, like on the net. She wants to start getting into this, basically what I'm making this video for, right? She wants to do this kind of stuff. We sat down for a night and we brainstormed a whole bunch of different Twitter handles, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. Come up with a name. For her, it was Mika Munster. We had a whole bunch of other ones that we came up with. But what you do is you find a name and then you go to Twitter and you type it in twitter.com/your name, right? Oh, your name is taken. Damn. All right. Well, I could add an underscore or an X or a dash or a 00 or something to try to add to it, right? And now, okay, that's unique now. 00 your name. Hey, it's unique. No, it's not. No one's going to remember that stuff. If you want to make it easy, you have to make it easy. The brand has to be recognizable, easy to remember, something that if you have a logo or something, make it something that I could remember so much that I could draw it out, right? Something like that. Dead Kennedys. Everybody knows how to do the Dead Kennedy symbol. It's just stuff like that. You want things to be easy to remember. So for her, it was Mika Munster. And what we did, we came up with that, and then we plugged it into Twitter. Wasn't taken. We plugged it into Facebook. Not taken. YouTube. Not taken. Twitch. Not taken. Boom. Now we're good. Now we have one name that's not taken anywhere. That's what you want to do. Get something that you could find that's unlocked everywhere. It's totally possible. I'm telling you. If you Jasmine, I picked that name. IRL Jasmine, right? That was per my suggestion. Now she has it everywhere. The only place she doesn't have it is her YouTube channel, which is like Jasmine's Serious Business, which is her original YouTube channel. She could probably go get youtube.com/IRL Jasmine pretty easily. But other than that, she has everything IRL Jasmine because we were able to come up with something that was unique to her and that was not taken anywhere because we checked. So keep that in mind when choosing a brand. This is super important stuff. Next up, now you know you're going to be working. Now you know that you have a name and you're ready to promote this name and get the name out there on your content. Now, what are you going to do for content? So there's different types of content. I gave you a massive list of stuff that I did, right? I do everything from live streaming to first impressions with Darnell, Let's Play, with Blizz Blues. Once that comes back up, that's a machinima prepackaged product. BFF Report, that's a packaged short form review show. I do everything. Legendary talk show, so there is a mix of content here that I'm doing. I'm not sticking to just one thing. Initially, it was just review package content. So review content, package material, you have to spend a lot of time in the game, then you have to record a lot of footage, and then you have to make the show interesting and edit everything down. Then you host the show, right? What's up, guys? Mike B, aka Phony from the BFF Report. Today we're going to be talking about blah, and that's it. So you don't have to get on camera to host a show. I realize there's such thing as the radio voice. You don't have to get on camera to host a show. But what I'm saying is that there's a difference between a prepackaged show. I'll use Total Biscuit as an example. His WTF is not like my BFF Report. Those are two completely separate things. His WTF is more similar to my Indie for Breakfast, outside of the content, but the type of content versus like the game, right? The type of content and the way it's put out is somewhat similar. The BFF Report takes about 12 hours of gameplay. It varies, right? If it's a console arcade game, single player, I could probably play that for about 6 hours, kind of know what's up, right? And I say that, I'm being kind of generous. I usually by the end of 6 hours of playing a game, you know how to play the game, you know the mechanics, you know what you don't like, you know what you like, you know what's funny, you know what's stupid. That's it. Then you have to get to the recording phase, which hopefully you were doing while you were playing it, and then you have to take all that footage, you have to edit it down, make it nice and neat. Then you have to talk into the microphone and record everything, take notes, make a bulleted list, so it's easy for you to keep track of the different things you have to talk about. Every BFF report, I don't write a script. I freestyle the elements, but I have bullet points to remember things that I need to talk about. I suggest doing something like that if you want to get into package content. Here's the thing. It's a lot of work, okay? You figure 20 hours, roughly, okay, give or take, for one episode of BFF Report. That's just to render. You still have to upload it. You still have to promote it. I have to put it on TankSpot. I have to put it on Facebook. I have to, on Wowhead's Facebook. I have to put it on my Facebook. I have to put it on YouTube. I have to promote it via Twitter. So you see, now there's all the other elements that come into. You have to put the tags in. You have to put you have to come up with the monetization to make a thumbnail for it. So maybe in total, we're talking about, because that I'd say all that work right there, it's about an hour, right? Total 21 hours. We'll just round down to 20 to say that. A lot of work for a show that lasts 10 minutes on average. BFF Report lasts 10 minutes. The Blizz Blues, same thing. The average Blizz Blues takes about 8 hours to work on. For those who don't know, Blizz Blues is a full-on machinima series. There's about 60 of them. Every single one is filmed like machinimas that you see elsewhere, except for it's all done in-game. So we actually have like sets that we have to create on the fly on a live realm. Then we film, we edit just like a small movie production. Lots of work outside of just creating the content, right? Like coming up with a script, coming up with something funny, whatever, finding a good way to end the show. You don't want to end on a low note. You want to end on something funny. Zing! Oh, play the credits. That's package content. Lots of work. Small product. Maybe once a week that you want to do that. Maybe twice. Okay. Now we get to the more popular stuff. First impressions and let's plays. Still talking about determining what you want to do, right? I think what I just told you with the short form stuff, a lot of you guys are probably like, wow, it's a lot of work. I don't want to do that. It goes back to mentality, right? It's going to be a lot of work. You have to just know that up front. Determining your content with let's play first impressions. A let's play series is very little work, long form content, lots of content. Outside of doing Blizz Blues with Darnell, I also do Darnell Let's Play. Playing Dead Space 1 right now. Very little work, right? Little as in time that it takes to actually do it. But the content is long, lots of it. I could crank out, in a couple hours, I could crank out 3 episodes, right? Because it takes as long as it takes to play it, because you record it all in real time. That's how you do Let's Plays. Hopefully you do Let's Plays like that. And then at the end, you're cutting it up and you're putting it out. So Let's Play content, easy, okay? First impressions. First impressions, just like Let's Play content, you can do it live if you want to. You don't have to do it live. I would suggest doing it live for the sake of time, because if you don't do it live, then you're taking your content, your development time for that content piece, and you're doubling it. Okay, you're gonna have to more than doubling it actually, because you're gonna watch it back and you're gonna comment on things as it goes along. You're not gonna do it in real time. If you're gonna do it in real time after the fact, then you might as well have done it while you were playing. Plus, I think with first impressions, it's good for people to, unless you're doing a review show, and this is, again, there's a difference between what I think WTF is versus what like the standard first impression show is. I think Total Biscuit does have some time, it probably varies, right? I don't know how he does content specifically, but I'm sure there are some times when he does have a lot of information up front and a lot of things he could go off of, whereas a typical first impression is, let's experience this game for the first time together, and I'll tell you how it feels to play it. I'll tell you what my thoughts are on it, and then we could go from there. While you're watching it, you're developing an opinion as well, and so you could kind of compare, contrast how the opinion, how your thoughts on the game are differ with the opinion of the caster. So that's how that's to me what a first impression is versus a let's play. Let's play is let's play a game, let's have fun. It's considered the lowest form of content. It's great filler content. You want to have stuff out there, if you're a funny person and you want to talk to the microphone and whatnot, great. That is great content to start with. Now, we should probably mention the Let's Play effect. This is very important as well. The Let's Play effect is basically no matter how good you are at a game, the second you hit record, you are terrible. That is the end of story, right? I don't care how amazing of a player you are. The second you hit record, you're going to lose a solid chunk of that. And the reason why, and you should. The reason why is because you should be focusing on, because some of your focus is now not just on playing the game. It is also on doing content, like commentary that is entertaining, informational, right, and consistent. Yes, during a let's play or during like a first impressions, you're going to have downtime. You just are. There are times I do Indie for breakfast. If something's hard, if I'm at an element that I keep messing up on because it's difficult, I'll stay quiet and I'll even say, I'm like, all right, time for me to get my Zen on and just focus, and I'll go in that way. But just know that when you're doing these LPs, you are going to screw up and you're not going to notice it and you're not going to understand why. That's going to make any sense until someone in the comments points it out to you. So while you're doing this first impressions or this LP or whatever, more so in the first impressions, you need to be able to recognize and translate and put into words game functions, features, sound, graphics, everything. You need to be able to take all of that and articulate it in a way that the person watching will be able to, just simply by listening to what you're saying, kind of get an idea in his head what the quality level of this game is and how it feels. That's how much information you need to put out when you're doing this type of work. That's the whole point, is why people watch it. They want to learn. They want to know what it is. And so when they're done watching it, they're like, wow, I learned something I didn't know. I felt like I was almost playing the game right there. That's great. Then you did a good job. You are going to get criticized. This should have been bundled in with mentality, but I'm just letting you guys know. You're going to get criticized. You're not going to like it. You're going to be called everything. You just have to deal with it. You know how long I've been dealing with this? I've heard everything for this. But you know what? I don't care. It's fine. It's something that's just like, that's cool, man. You don't like it. That's great. But there are times I get criticized because I miss a function of a game. That's when you have to make a decision. You either, first, you determine whether or not you were wrong, which is important. I had an issue that came up recently where a whole bunch of people jumped on this comment bandwagon, and I don't blame them. From a visual perspective, I clearly did not articulate enough that the gameplay function that they thought exists, that their perception was that this function exists in the game, and I missed it. That function did not exist, and so I had to explain, which means I failed in my show. I had to explain after the fact that that function did not exist. Sorry, that's all I could say. You're basically wrong. But there are times when you are wrong. You did mess up, and that's when you make you have to make a call. You either take down the video and you start from scratch, which I would only do under the most severest of situations. I have done that in the past. I've missed the most basic thing because I'm tunnel visioning, trying to be entertaining, trying to do commentary, everything at the same time. I missed something like on the corner of the screen. It has some key element that would have changed the entire output. I missed that, and then it destroyed the rest of the impressions. And something like that, I took the video down, and I re-recorded the whole thing. I didn't pretend like the original one didn't exist. At the beginning, I mentioned that it was there, and I apologize for anybody that had seen it, because it's not right to go out and screw up something like that. You had to pay for it. Now, just remember, you're going to make mistakes, right? You're going to. Nobody's perfect. You're going to make mistakes bad enough that you're going to have to redo content. Okay, again, Total Biscuit does it. I do it. Everybody does it. All that work that I explained to you earlier that went to one episode, you just doubled it. So, I'm not trying to scare anybody away from doing this. I just need everybody, I want everybody who watches this video to know and understand that there is a lot of work involved in doing this kind of content. Now, I have a couple more things to talk about. We have cost. Obviously, with doing this, you're going to have to get into cost. You determine what kind of content you're going to do. Okay, I can record my voice using a good mic, cost, on Goldwave, which is a freeware audio recorder. Hey, no more cost there. Okay, so we have one cost. record the game, cost for the game, with fraps, cost for fraps, on my computer, technically cost, and you can break that down into various pieces, right? And then I want to post it to the internet using your cable cost. So everything has cost. You'd be ready to take all that stuff into consideration when you do this. You're gonna have to invest some money. I have a lot of equipment here, but I also named off like 10 shows that I do at the beginning of this show. The gear that I have, I've accumulated slowly over the past several years, and it helps me do all of these shows. Most of the gear will overlap. There's some stuff that don't get used for anything other than the purpose of doing X, right? And that's it. You are going to be investing in gear. I bought an AverMedia, even though I already have 2 Black Magic cards, one in each one of these machines. I bought that because it's going to help up the quality of what I do by about this much. But when you're at the point where you're fine-tuning this much, and you will get there, it's not just about buying an AverMedia card, right, to increase your quality by like 10%, right, or 5%. It even goes down to your computer configuration. If you have a single computer with a processor, RAM, motherboard, everything that's powerful enough to stream, record, and play a game, then you're good. You're great. Now you have to figure out where that stuff's gonna go. You have to put it in storage. You probably already bought an SSD drive for your game. That costs money. Then you're gonna build a RAID out for the actual recording of a gameplay footage or storage of gameplay footage for easy, fast access. You can do it on regular drive if you want, which is where you're gonna start. Regular drive, $80. But then once you get to the point where you're doing so much content, you're gonna want to up that up to a RAID or more. That's just the way it is. That's the difference between having a Blackmagic card and like an AverMedia card. I wanted to increase my what I do by this much, and that was worth it. That's like going from a single hard drive to a double hard drive in a RAID. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to be making initial investments in things. Everything's going to cost, but be ready for that. Now, obviously, there's the reward. The reward in the end, like I said in the beginning of the video, you want to play video games for a living. The reward is money, popularity, whatever, right? Having fun. That's a huge thing. If you don't enjoy it, then you're probably not gonna. You're gonna hate life, just like any job. You don't like it. It doesn't matter how much money you make at your job. I made a lot more in the private sector doing what I did there than I did in the gaming industry. Even right now, I'm getting close to meeting that. I'm this close to meeting that, but I'm not quite there yet. It's taken 3 years or something. Taking a ridiculous amount of time for me to actually pull this off, and that's what's gonna happen. It's been a lot of hard work. It's gonna be a lot of hard work, but you will eventually get to that point. Now, the reward is simple. You have to look at everywhere that you can make money, not just directly, but indirectly. We already know you're having fun. We already know you're entertaining. We already know you like to give to the community. That's great. It would be nice if you can make a living off it. The only way to make a living, unfortunately, is by making money. So that's why the evil money thing comes in. That's why we put ads on the videos, is so that we could continue to do all this stuff. We continue having fun. We continue giving to the community, networking with people. We could do all this stuff because we put ads on your videos. You watched an ad at the beginning of this video. Thank you very much. I can continue doing more. But you have to know, and you have to be able to cross-post. You have to be able to promote everything and make it all work to the point to where you're making money in total. Yes, I'm almost making as much as I was in the private sector, but it's not from one thing. It's from about 5 different things. It's from Twitch. It's from YouTube. It's from Zam. It's from everything that I do. It's all bundled in to the grand total that I get at the end of the day in several checks at the end of every month that help me continue doing what I'm doing. Now, let's look at Twitch for an example. Their CPMs are all over the place, right? They're gonna be up and down. There's a lot of people streaming. If you're streaming a popular game, chances are there's a ton of other people that are streaming as well. So you're gonna have to find some way to develop some kind of streaming community. However you want to do it is up to you. You can do giveaways, lots of investment, probably very little return, especially if you're getting started. You can have a really sick looking UI. You can have a fat bandwidth connection, so you're streaming at like 1080, and everyone's like, they're just here because your stream is amazing. You could be streaming something that nobody's in. That's always a great thing. Hey, I got into this game I got closed beta. Holy crap, I'm in PlanetSide 2 for anybody else. I'm gonna stream it. Now the NDA is dropped. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you have to find some way to be able to generate some kind of community and give them a reason to come back. Obviously, there's the whole thing with dressing up your Twitch channel along with everything else. Branding goes back to branding. Now, as an example, I streamed an event about a month ago. It was the DayZ Hunger Games. I ran about 7 commercials the entire night. I didn't run that many. I didn't want to run that many because it was an event that was huge. It was new. I didn't want to interfere with the content of the video, of the stream, with tons of ads. So I only ran a handful throughout the entire night. And I had about, I think it was like 7,500 was my peak viewers. 7,500. There's not a lot of people. A very, very small, tiny percentage of people can say they've ever hit that, let alone maintain it, right? The amount of money I made from that night in that 4-hour period was about $60. Residuals probably took it up to about 75 or something. That almost, when I saw that, I was like, that just basically confirmed everything I already knew. There's no way that I am going to make a living off of just streaming. I'm not Towley. I'm not Total Biscuits or any one of the popular StarCraft streamers. I'm not any one of those guys. That's not what I do. I do content everywhere, because if Twitch goes down and all my money was in Twitch, then what happens to me? I'm out. So here's what I do. I stream to Twitch. I record it at the same time. I'm always recording when I'm streaming, like 90% of the time. Then afterwards, I take that VOD, and I will, unless I feel there's a reason for it, I will not post the entire thing. I will edit it down to the best of my ability to small packages. Go check out any of my PlanetSide 2 FNG videos, my Ravage videos. All of those are edits. Most of my bonus tets, as a matter of fact. All that is I'm taking a stream and I'm cutting it down for YouTube consumption. I just basically took my streaming, which I have fun doing it. I have fun doing everything I do. I took the streaming and then I turned it into a packaged product that I could post on YouTube. So now I've made an earning off of Twitch. Couple dollars there and here and there, right? Couple dollars here. Let's say $5 I made off of Twitch streaming something for one night, which I would say for about 300 people or so running a bunch of ads, that about makes sense. Then I post on YouTube as a packaged product, and then I'm able to make, a couple dollars off that as well. So off of one night of streaming for fun, which is really just a pastime, I don't really consider that to be a major part of what I do, but the content that it takes afterwards will earn me money, not just on Twitch, but also on YouTube. Now, obviously the social thing is important. Facebook, Twitter, all of that. You want to be able to push this product everywhere. Everything that you post, push it, tweet it out. Make sure you tweet stuff on your own too. Don't try not to be just someone who just primarily tweets, or not primarily, who only tweets. If you do a lot of shows like me, I would say most of my tweets are probably show related, but obviously when I have an opinion about something, I'll get involved, like the Guild Wars 2 banning thing, right? And that's the way I think most of us do things. When I say us, I mean like some of the people who stream and do all this stuff for a living. But make sure you interject your personality into all these things. Obviously, you're giving personality inside of giving product inside of the things that you develop, your individual products, so your videos. But make sure you also help develop that out further within like the social networks like Twitter and Facebook. Doing things for free is good. Now, I know that sounds crazy. Hey, Mike, I'm trying to make a living off this stuff. How do I go about doing things for free? If somebody asked you to go and be on their stream, right, on their podcast or something, or maybe participate in an event or something, outside of anything that might legally get you in trouble, like if somebody's doing a charity event for a charity you've never heard of, that kind of stuff you have to be careful with. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Be careful with that stuff. But if somebody's like, hey, I'm just streaming this game, you want to come co-op, whatever, if it's like 30, 45 minutes out of your life, do it. You're not too big to do this stuff, right? If you're too busy, that's different, right? If you have too much stuff going on, that's totally different. But if somebody invites you ahead of time to go on a podcast or something, I've been on a lot of podcasts, free-to-play podcasts, MMO Bomb, Convert to Raid. I've been on lots of podcasts outside of things within the Game Breaker network. And I enjoy doing those things. And you know what? Not only do I enjoy doing it and going and talking to those people, right? Outside of talking to Gary and Laura all day, I can talk to somebody new. It's fun and it helps get my name out there more. And it's cross promotion because now when I'm done with that, I could take that video and put it on my stream. So now I just created content for myself to put out to show that I'm making my way through this industry by networking and doing things with other people. So you're never going to be too big to do stuff. You can be too busy, but if you can make time to do stuff like this, then do it because it helps you, it helps them, and you're not too big to do some of this stuff for free. You're not going to get paid for every second of your life just because you're doing this for a living. You're going to have to give some, and that's pretty much it. So, I think I've covered pretty much everything. I have no idea how long this has gone on for, but thank you very much for sticking in there. I know some of you guys are going to have some questions, so feel free. I kind of look down like, oh crap, here he goes. Feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I will try to get back to you guys, probably in another video to kind of answer some of these. I'll take some of the ones that, now I won't take all of them. I'll take the ones that I've been asked like over time, along with the ones that I get here, because I know there's some questions that you guys have that are pretty common to like what I do. So that's it. Thanks again for watching, and good luck to those of you guys trying to do this. If I have some ideas for a follow-up to add to this, I will definitely do them. So be sure to follow me at aka Mike B on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube.com. See how that works?